So now we've got all our subtools here, and remember we have 11 subtools over here. You can go into your subtool menu over here and you kind of scroll through them. You can hit the N key to see a list of your subtools, or you can Alt tap any of these to kind of select them. So let's go ahead and Alt tap his body here, and I'm going to hit X to turn off X symmetry, and I'm going to hold down Alt and just go to unmask mesh border here. So let's say I want to start moving multiple objects on this guy around at the same time. In previous versions of ZBrush, what you'd have to do is merge anything you want together, and again, that subtool merge right here is where you can kind of merge. You can merge visible, you can merge down. However you wanted to merge your subtools together and move them is what you'd have to do, and then split them apart later. With ZBrush 4R8, what you can do is click this little transpose all selected subtools to activate it. And now if you hold down Control Shift and tap any subtool, what it's going to do is you're going to see everything is hatched except for the shirt, which means I can move the shirt around. If I want to add to the selection, hold down Control Shift and tap any other subtools you want. So if you want to tap all of this, here's his whole body. If you don't want his body, but you want like all of his upper body accessories, you can just kind of go through here and click on his accessories. Or what you can do, if you hold down Control Shift and tap in your document, what that's going to do is invert your selection. So it's very similar to masking using the hotkeys or the shortcuts for the masking stuff. It's Control Shift and then tapping in your document to invert that. Control Shift tap on the object to add or subtract from that selection. And just remember, hatch means it's not going to move. Unhatched means it's going to move. So now that these are all unhatched, I can go ahead and move all of these subtools here. And you're also going to notice if I hold down Control Shift and drag over an object, that'll go ahead and either add it to the unhatched selection, or if you Control Shift drag and hold down Alt, it'll add it to the hatched selection. So you can kind of make massive changes like that. If you hold down Control Shift and drag out here in your document, that'll clear your selection. And you're going to want to make sure you do that every time before you get out of Transpose All Selected Subtools. If, for example, you have Control Shift held down and you just grab a bunch of this stuff up here, and then let's untap this body. So we basically have, and we'll untap his glove and his wrist there. So we basically have all of his upper body stuff selected, and we kind of move those around together. However, if I go out of Transpose All Selected Subtools right now, you're going to see I'm no longer in that mode. I'm just have his body selected, and he's hatched out, but because he's selected, even though he's hatched, because this isn't activated, I'm just moving the body around. So in order to kind of get rid of the weird hatch marks that are kind of being left behind, make sure you go into Transpose All Selected Subtools, activate it, hold down Control Shift and tap in your document, hold down Control Shift and drag in your document to go ahead and release all of these subtools out of that mode, or just unselect all of them basically, and then just turn that off. So again, just a quick overview, turn that on, Control Shift drag all the pieces you want to move together, and you're good to go. It'll leave those hatched. If you want to refine your selection, hold down Control Shift and tap any objects you want to add to your hatch selection, or Control Shift tap out here in your document to invert your selection. If you want, go ahead and move all these subtools, and when you're done moving, make sure you do Control Shift drag to get rid of your hatch selection, and then turn the Transpose All Selected Subtools mode off. I'm going to go ahead and undo that, and then we're kind of back where we started. And one more thing I want to talk about with Gizmo, and it's kind of related to the moving stack as well. We Alt tap his body to go ahead and select his body here, and if you hold go into solo mode here, and we hit W, we have the Gizmo. Again, if I hold down Alt and just kind of move this, I can just tap on the body and inherit a new normal direction, as well as repositioning the Gizmo pivot. If you hold down Control, just like with Transpose, it'll actually start masking along the surface of your object. So if you wanted to bend this guy's arm, just like with Transpose and previous versions of ZBrush, if you hold down Control, it'll kind of mask along his body, and then you can hold down Alt and kind of recenter this pivot in here, or hold down Alt and you can just kind of move this Gizmo right in there, and now you can use your screen space rotate to kind of move this, or you don't have to use screen space. You can use whatever axis you'd like to rotate on. But if you did want to just rotate along this elbow right here, just use your screen space, set the pivot in there, and now you can just rotate right along that elbow. Since he's masked, I want to talk about one more thing. Let's go ahead and turn back on that Transpose All Selected Subtools option to get that stack activated, and then go ahead and go out of solo mode here. So moving multiple subtools respects masking. So if you have masking turned on for any of your objects that you're moving, even if you're moving multiple of them, so what we can do with this activated, go ahead and Control Shift drag over all these top parts, and then if we want to move the body here, so I'm going to hold down Control Shift, and we'll just tap some of these things to turn them off or turn them into hatches, let's say. So we've got a number of subtools selected. We've got his glove and his wristbands and his body. However, his body is masked, so if we go ahead and move this, you're going to see it's moving all those subtools and only the unmasked portions of his body. Now, it doesn't matter when you have the stack icon turned on. If you hold down Alt and then tap his glove, it doesn't matter if the body's selected in his mask, it will remember that. So now when we go in here to move these things, again, even though his body's not selected, it's still masked, so it's going to move all of those subtools that we have unhatched and the unmasked portions of his body. So again, just to kind of clear this out, hold down Control Shift, and we'll drag in our document to unhatch everything. Go ahead and turn that off, and then we're back to normal.